Western Spring Television. Ours it is.
A very beautiful morning to you. Welcome on board to the midweek installment of Morning Spring. It is Wednesday, May 15, 2024, and we are grateful to God for life. Morning Spring is where we talk about socio-political issues as it affects us as a people, speaking to critical stakeholders, politicians, policymakers to make sense of the situation and keep you abreast, our darling esteemed viewers, of what is happening around you. My name is Evelyn Ohiolei, welcoming you specially to this edition. And of course, I've got my partner here with me.
Thank you very much, Evelyn. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, world. Very delighted to know that you are there with us on Morning Spring today. On the program, we look at the headlines from the papers, and then we get talking after that as well. And the aim of having this program is to have a working and a better nation, this nation of ours, with good people for Nigeria. We'll take this break right now. When we come back, we move straight toward the papers are saying very juicy headlines, by the way. We'll be back. Stay with us. All right, thank you for staying with us on the headline segment. Let's try and start with the Daily Trust. The Daily Trust newspaper, trusting what they are for us, and it's quite a very sad one, I must say. And it's looking like something we're unfortunately getting used to as a nation. Terrorists abduct over 80 in Katsina. When we say 80, we mean 80 human beings. And writer says, women among victims. Military confirms Sunday soldiers killing in same area. Yes, that was an ambush on some soldiers or killing some soldiers. And the army is saying, or the military is saying, it happened in the same area where 80 people have been kidnapped in, the northwestern state of Katsina. That's a sad one, by the way. And, you have the picture of the governor, I think, of Gombe State here, flanked by different women. A chairman of Northern States Governors Forum, Gombe State Governor Muhammad Nwala, in a group photograph with wives of Northern Governors under the aegis of Northern Governors Spouses Forum, led by Gombe State First Lady Ajia Umaus Inua Yahaya, of course. But then, for whatever they are there for, the wives of these excellencies themselves, by the way, they should know that things are happening. Just 80 of Katsina residents have been carted away, abducted, and the conditions in which they are right now, we don't know. HASU gives Tinubu 2 weeks to constitute universities governing councils. President suspends cybersecurity levy. Niger Speaker halts wedding plans for 100 orphans, and government to unveil guidelines for CNG vehicle conversion. Tariff protest. Don't derail our plan for power sector, federal government tells Labour. Nigeria, UN seek $306 million to end food nutrition crisis in Borno, Adamawa, Yobe, and federal government eyes 20 trillion pension fund for infrastructure development. Okay, at this point, I'd like to welcome Ladiji Alabi for some analysis on these headlines. So good morning, Ladiji. Thank you for joining us on this midweek edition.
Good morning, Evelyn.
Good morning.
Right, terrorists abduct 80 in Kaduna. I don't even want to start with that. Let's look at these. President suspends cybersecurity levy. Are you surprised?
You say,
are you surprised?
Well, I am not.
That policy have been stepped down, at least for now.
I am not, except they want to turn a blind eye or a deaf ear to the cries of Nigerians. Many well-meaning Nigerians have come out to condemn this at this particular point in time. And even if we are going to do it, a lot of people have questioned the rationale behind making the office of the National Security Advisor office where the budgetary plans for the office, first, the office is not known to the Constitution. Second, what they spend in the office due to security reasons is not known, it's vague. They operate a vague, account system, and you want to pump in such an amount of money that in a year, you're talking about billions of naira on a yearly basis. So why should we? So in the best interest of themselves, the federal government, I think they've done this, and let's see how they think through this policy. Already Nigerians are paying through their nose. If you are transferring 10,000 naira, maybe from myself to you now, the total cost that both you and I will share is 134 naira and a few kobo. I will take 80 something naira of that share, you take 34 naira. That is huge already. Nigerians, you pay for this fee, you pay for that. With that aside, ATM maintenance fee aside, some funny duty that we pay. That's even aside SMS alert that we receive every now
And if you are using a POS machine, you still have to pay for the service.
You pay for the service. You pay for the alert you receive, Others we use naira to buy naira. These are difficult.
Ladeji, quickly, before Evelyn comes in, some things have been dropping in my mind since I saw this stepping down of this particular policy. Like, it's not even like it should not happen. They are just stepping it down to have a review. Number one, does it give a vibe that the administration is a listening one? Number one. Number two, is this looking like a pattern that they come out with a policy, Nigerians react, and then they say, hold on, okay, we are going to work on it. Is that more like a pattern of let's see what they will do, and or let's see how people react, to give themselves that credit of we are a listening government? Hope you understand the two questions.
Yeah, I think the vibe is giving me is a vibe of
because it's looking like a pattern.
It's a vibe of
come out, see how the reaction will be. Okay, hold on.
It's a vibe of people that are not prepared for governance, and this is just backing up the argument of some people that you guys are just crying now. This man literally never said anything that was going to do anything while he was campaigning. He went to Kaduna State or Kano. He said, I want to dance. He came to Oshun. He was busy abusing other political parties. Literally nothing. Oh, this is what I want to do. This is how I will do it. Presidential debate, he did not attend. So there is that school of thought that he never promised anything.
All right.
So it's giving me a vibe of people that are not prepared, because if you are truly prepared, you don't have to go. Now, if it is one policy, then you can say maybe it happens. We are all human. But if it happened, you reverse that, you reverse. It's not giving me a vibe of a listening person or something.
Thank you,
it's giving me a vibe of somebody that is really not prepared for the job.
All right.
All right, thank you, Ladeji. We move over to the Guardian newspaper this morning. Let's check what the Guardian has on its front page. Illegal mining. Nigeria's $1.8 billion gold reserves mined into private pockets. And of course, you can see the different countries there that have gold reserves and what they do annually. Different countries of the world there, with Nigeria taking the list, there with 21.37 trillion. Away from that, painter bags life imprisonment for sexually assaulting 20-year-old neighbor. And thank God is paying for his actions, but of course we will continue to decry actions like this. It is uncivil, it is barbaric, and it is evil. Minister goes to court, petitions IGP over mass wedding for 100 orphaned girls. And of course that happened in Niger State, where the Speaker of Niger State wanted to give out or help in marrying off 100 orphaned girls. Fubara hits Ada, says River battling huge debts left by Wike. More revelations coming from the incumbent governor there. Siminalai Fubara in the fight with his predecessor and Minister of the FCT, ESM Wike. Bandits kidnapped 500 Zamfara residents, killed 2 police, 3 others. Wow, sad one. Tinubu Chetam others to pay access fees at toll gates henceforth. You can get on to news page 3 of the Guardian newspaper to read more of the details for yourself. And Tinubu suspends implementation of cybersecurity levy. Nigeria considers compulsory installation of CNG pumps at fuel stations. And that is very important. Let's move to the talking point now. I know Ladiji will be so interested in this. Talk about the illegal mining that is going on in Nigeria, about the gold reserves. Osun is one state that is known for its gold reserves, but as it is now, it's not like we are enjoying what we have.
Right.
Yes, we know they say the land is for the government and what is for the state rather, and what is in it is for the federal, the center. But then we have had cases of illegal mining and also some individuals behind this illegal mining and cutting away this monies into their private accounts. Your thoughts?
Well, Evelyn, the reality is, if we're talking about mining money or gold money going into private accounts, I tell you for free, let me look into the camera and say that they are political inclined person, politically exposed people that have the power and the money. Go to everywhere in Nigeria land, everywhere. As a matter of fact, at times you joke with our friends from Elisha, that we hope one day they will not tell the king of Elisha now, the paramount ruler himself, to leave the palace because they want to mine. Elisha land is blessed with enormous reserve of gold. Yeah. As a matter of fact, with our research, gold in Elisha is far better. It's one of the best in the world, far better than that of South Africa. But what has become what has this resulted to? Land degradation. People cannot go to farm again. Inflow of people that are not even indigenous people there, and outflow of the money into private pockets and some Chinese and some of their Chinese collaborators. I've said this in different forums. At a time when we started the campaign, because I can talk about mining because it is something I really went deep into investigating. As a matter of fact, 2 of our major institutions in Osun, the College of Education in Elisha, now University of Elisha, we arrested people inside the campus mining there. And a few months ago, there were reports that people are mining inside of Femi University. This money are not going into government accounts. At a time, the Osun State House of Assembly, the former assembly, tried to investigate the pollution of Osun River due to the activities of these illegal miners. I tell you for free, the police that were guiding the Chinese were higher in ranks compared to the police that were guiding the House of Assembly members. So who is to order who to leave the site? It is that bad. It is that bad because the money they get from these things are not going into government accounts to be used for the common good of the people. These politicians and their collaborators use this money to develop themselves. And it is sad. In other climes, yesterday I was watching a video on X. I saw what Singapore is doing with waste. Every day they pack the waste and they have fire burning 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 31 or 30 days in a month, and 365 or 366 days as it is in a year. And what do they use those lights? I mean, the energy generated from it, they use it to power their cities. But here we are, we cannot think through. All our leaders care about is what comes to my private pocket. And that's why you see many of them, they have no business. They have not done any business in their life. But the moment they become a local government chairman, the moment they become a governor, they return stinkingly rich. And you ask the question, now they now start sharing rice, start sharing gari, start doing all those, start buying Okada for people that they are doing empowerment. It's a shame.
But how do you think we can move from where we are to where we should be as a there
is a need for us to have a serious political will. A serious political will. People that are truly ready. I can tell you 99.9% of the people we have in power today, they are not there because of any human. How do you tell me that people pass a bill that as a governor, as I'm leaving the office, you pay me 100% of my of my salary as my pension? And you have pensioners, teachers, doctors, lawyers, people that have worked in the civil service, that they don't have they've not collected their gratuity. I know people that have retired for more than 10 years, they've not seen their gratuity. So not until we have selfless leaders, people that are truly there for the good of the people, not until then then we'll start to see the dividends of democracy through it.
All right, Nadija, I would have loved to take you more, but we have to move to other papers this morning.
Right.
That will be all from The Guardian.
Quickly from the Nation newspaper, Speaker lashes Minister for opposing plan to marry off 100 girls. That's the situation in Niger State. Nigerian gains additional 16,300 square kilometer maritime territory. APC ask court to move Jimo's case against Aida Tiwatu Akure, and CNG sale points to be made compulsory at petrol stations. Minister, electricity tariff hike reversal would derail reform plan. Federal government seeks labor's understanding, and 85% of consumers still enjoying subsidy, really. And there's a quote from him: they should please not derail or distract our transformation plan. We have a clearly documented reform roadmap where we are going to have reliable, functional, cost-effective and affordable electricity. And the decision of the FEC says exceptions cancelled at airport toll gates, presidential VIPs to pay toll, cybersecurity levy being reviewed, 48-hour visa for investors underway. A lot of resolutions were agreed on, at the FEC meeting yesterday. Quickly, let's talk about these. Ladeje, the minister is saying, we have a plan. Please don't derail it. Electricity tariff hike reversal would derail the reform plan. And he has talked about the prospects.
Well, I Mo Adelabu, like I call him on one social media platform. The federal government need to first understand that you don't make people pay for darkness. You invest in it first. The reality is no Nigerian will say we don't want to pay for electricity if they are truly enjoying it. And as a matter of fact, I've said it, the first thing you ought to do, okay, so we have people doing energy theft and all. Why don't you make prepaid meter available for everybody? He was complaining that Nigerians and they hunt their freezers. It is not your job to tell me when to hunt my freezers.
For that.
So say back and forth. You think this thing through before you come out to say them. I know you play his defense one time of Femi when I said he was holding power bank. It shows he had no plan, sir. But that's just by the way. You make prepaid meters available. I know people in this same Oshogo that we are that have paid for prepaid meter as far back as 2014, 2015. Yeah. You've not given them prepaid meter. Now, if we have solved that problem of prepaid meter, pump money wherever the government want to see the money. Pump money into this thing.
This is the money he's talking about.
You cannot fetch the money from people. See, we have a set of unserious people ruling us. The same government that said we want to make the Naira grow. Femi, do you know they just approved that 12.5 billion Naira should be taken to Japan to go and buy V6 engine, Toyota Buffalo for the custom. We have Nord Motors in Lagos. We have, what's the name of this guy in Nnewi? Innocent in Nnewi. Pump that 12.5 billion Naira, share it among them or other companies building cars in Nigeria. What have you done to strengthen the economy of Nigeria? But no, you are going to Japan and want to strengthen the power sector. You want to overtax the people. You want to overburden them. People that you are not giving electricity. It's just an attitude of it's a serious set of people that just want to do trial and error. And I think this will not help us. If they really truly want to do something, they should look for the fund, get the power sector working, give everybody meter. People will pay. You don't have a choice. You would have to pay. All you just need to start doing is monitoring.
But many persons will say the issue with the power sector is the metering is part of it, but it's beyond metering. Generation, distribution,
that is
and many things. But we talk about
it has been discovered that most of our problem doesn't even lie with generation. It deals with distribution.
We must go on this particular one. That's all the nation has for us this morning.
And from the nation, off to Daily Independent newspaper this morning. FG to deploy 20 trillion naira pension fund to drive economic growth, with riders to invest in housing, power, rails, roads, technology. OK's 96.297 billion naira for generators for State House streetlights, bus terminals. Approves private partnership to transform infrastructure housing sector. Begs NLC, TUC not to derail plan for electricity sector. Away from that, alleged 19.4 billion naira fraud, ex-aviation minister Sirika brother Sean Court. Obi's meeting with Atiku, Saraki, others not connected to 2027. The Labour Party is talking. DSS invades court, arrests defendants despite judge's warning. That's on page 6 if you need more details of that story. Aviation Ministry justifies $300 levy on helicopter operators. That's also on page 6. ASU threatens strike over non-constitutional varsity governing councils. Warns Tinubu academic staff dying over cost of living. NEC reconvenes in 2 weeks to take decisive action. Bottom strip in red, foreign investors to get visas within 48 hours. That's coming from the federal government. Tinubu Chetam to pay toll at airport gates. Keyamo says no more exemptions. VIPs must now pay.
Wow.
That's the top strip. And we inherited huge debt burden from Wike's administration. The drama going on in Rivers State, and that particular statement is coming from the #1 citizen of the state, Mr. Sim Fubara. A lot of talking points at this time, but I'd like to focus on 1 or 2 stories, but let me start with what happened in the court yesterday. DSS invades court, arrests defendants despite judge's warning. What is this saying? We are not in a banana republic, like they would say. It's, yes, you may have the right to arrest this person, but this is in a court of law. A judge, they call them milords, right? Seated at his or I sit, and you just have the DSS officials come in and just whisk away the defendant while the judge is still sitting, and the judge also gave a warning that they shouldn't do that. We knew what happened when there was a fight or a scuffle between the DSS and the correctional Evelyn, and now this.
Well, I think Femi just used the right word, invasion. They invaded the court. It's sad. You just said we are not in a banana republic, but that's on paper. In reality, what we see every now and then, just a week or 2 weeks ago, we saw the arrest of a journalist. Who does that if not a banana republic? We've seen, reporters, journalists being arrested. We've seen, DSS police and all doing as if we are not in a democracy. No. That is a serious disrespect to my lord. In that court of law, you don't do that. Even if you guys want to arrest, let the court proceeding, finish or something, and you can wait to arrest whoever. Don't forget, you've mentioned the case of Emefiele. It also happened to Showore. And they wanted to pick him up. But the kind of person Showore is, it will make the noise. It will, show the world that already he has guys around him that will begin to show. So he's already their friend in the DSS, friend quote and unquote. But this, in reality, it's a pointer to the fact that we have issues with our system, and it's really not working. And the world is watching. All these things, the world, they are watching, they are reading about us, and they just ask the question: how do I go to a country where there is no respect for the rule of law?
All right, thank you so much, Comrade Ladiji Alabi, for your thoughts and submission this morning. Do not contest it.
I'm not contesting. But
enjoy the rest of your day,
I must say this before I end the show.
We have to go.
And you will go, but I wish Leah Sharibu a happy 21st birthday. She celebrated that in the custody of our abductors yesterday. We wish her all the best, and we hope one day she will regain her
return.
Thank you so much for doing that. We have to go for the segment, but we will return as we go off to the oil-rich state, Rivers State. A lot is happening in that particular state. The scuffle, the drama, the saga between the incumbent governor, Simeon Fubara, and his predecessor, ESM Wike. The governor has made loads of revelation and has also hinted that there will be a judicial panel to be instituted to probe the administration of his predecessor, in which he was a key member of. We'll be speaking to a critical stakeholder when we return from this break. Do not go anywhere. Morning Spring will be right back.
Thank you for sticking with us. The conversation, as I said earlier before the break, is about what is happening in the treasure base of the nation, with the capital, the Garden City, Port Harcourt, talking about River State, and it's an unending drama. In fact, better put, rivers of drama. That's how the whole country and, many beyond the shores of the country are looking at it to say what is happening. Yes, there are issues between the incumbent governor and his predecessor, different camps, but then the institutions of the state is almost collapsing. I think I must put this there, and that is what is getting many persons worried. The personalities, many persons are not even worried with them because they think it's politics. They will settle at some point, but it seems it has moved. The drama, the battle has left the individuals to the institutions of the state, the executive, the legislature, at loggerheads. And where does this leave the people? It has been unearthing or secret. And in fact, the current governor, incumbent governor, Governor Simi, say, I might have to talk if push comes to shove. And the former governor is saying maybe he has made a mistake. He's human after all, and he will correct the mistake, quote and unquote. We are being joined this morning by a Pan-Africanist and a human rights activist, by the way, and of course a lawyer, Chetam Nwala. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Chetam.
Good morning, and thank you for having me on your show this morning once again.
All right, thank you very much for joining us. But so that our people will have a hang of what we are talking about and where the battle is right now. Let's watch this. We'll be back very shortly.
Respect people who appreciate what God has done for them, who appreciate what God has used people to do for them. God does not come down. God uses people to help people. So when you have been helped, you appreciate them, and then God will know that you have also appreciated him. I have never told anybody to worship me. Nobody can worship man. All of us believe that we only have one God, and it's only that God we worship, and we will continue to worship that God. But as politicians, we appreciate people who have helped, is it not? Ogu people, Ogubolo people. When I came to ask you to support me, you supported me. Is that correct? Did I worship you? Did I worship you? But I have to appreciate you. Is that correct? I want to say this clearly. When in life, when you have made a mistake, you say you have made a mistake. There's nothing you can do about it. I have made a mistake. I went it up, and I said, God, forgive me. And I'll say, all of you forgive me. But we'll correct it at the appropriate time. I'm a human being. I'm bound to make a mistake. My judgment can be wrong. So forgive me for making a wrong judgment. That's life. So nobody should kill himself. Let me say this clearly. Arnold, don't be frightened that anybody would remove you as an assembly member. Nobody would remove you as an assembly member.
I feel very happy that this is happening today to mark the beginning of a new era. When I said that I had a reason for being patient, it is because I know that we are all from one family. And if we have a disagreement, no matter how bad it is, it should be resolved. It has become very clear that this disagreement, there is no headway to it. And for a lot of reasons, there are very, very visible evidence that there is sabotage, deliberate attempt to sabotage this administration. For that reason, we have to move forward. In the local parliament, they said the jungle has matured. We will be setting a panel of inquiry to investigate the affair of governance. Even if it's a mistake, by the special grace of God, I'm here today.
Yes.
God doesn't make mistakes.
At all. Not a mistake.
And let me also appeal to them. Let them continue to make mistakes.
All right, it seems is, acceptance of mistakes being made and the correction of such mistake. And the other party say, yes, you're making mistakes. Go ahead and keep making that mistake. You'll make more of it as well. Barrister Chetam, are you with me?
Yes, very well.
Your rivers, when I mean your rivers, because you're a son of the soil, is being seen across the country as the rivers of drama. Instead of infrastructure plans, educational plans, health, welfare, and the well-being of the people being discussed, is being from one heavyweight to the other, and institutions of state are at risk right now. We've had you on this matter severally, but where the situation is right now, what do you make of it? It's a season of mistakes, isn't it?
Well, in all honesty, some of us are quite saddened by what is happening in the state. I wouldn't say we're not used to things like this, but unfortunately, we are used to the wrong things, and this has continued over the years in Rivers State. This is not the first time we're having critical crisis like this. We saw it during the Amici period. From the Amici, we had the Wiki's administration. We also had similar situations. So it's not new to Rivers people. However, the problem is Rivers people have had to bear the grunt. At the end of the day, we had to suffer the pressure at the end of the day, because the truth is, Rivers people, at the end of the day, do not get the dividends of democracy. And just like you had stated, when we're supposed to be talking about improvement in the state, we're talking about roads and other infrastructure. We're not getting those things, because whether you like it or not, the governor is completely distracted. And it's by 29th of May this year, you would have the governor turning 1 year. And if you ask me my own assessments, the governor has not done anything in 1 year. He has done nothing in 1 year. That is the exact truth. Why? Partly because of this particular crisis. But at the end of the day, do you tell people that, oh, I failed to perform because of crisis? No, these are some of the challenges. That was why from the onset we have said that the minister has done his time as governor. Allow the governor to continue as governor, to call the shots and make his decisions as governor. When he ran elections, some of us didn't buy into the idea of him becoming governor. But when he became a governor, we came together and said, okay, it's time to move the state forward. And we expect that the state should be moved forward. But unfortunately, we have had a situation where we have moved from one crisis to another, and unfortunately, we are also having state institutions now being compromised. Remember, what we have, not just in Rivers State, but in the entire federation and at large in Africa, we have a situation where state institutions are at the mercies of political leaders, because you have people without character manning these institutions. Else, whether they are fighting or not, things should be happening, the state should be making progress. But now the institutions in the respective, in the states are now at the mercies of whoever is in charge. Or whoever they are loyal to, which is a challenge for some of us. That's why you see that the state institutions are not functioning. The state is not moving at the pace it ought to move. So it's a challenge for some of us. It's an issue, and we are bothered about this particular situation. That's why we are saying we need this crisis to end. But unfortunately, this crisis is far from over. I had told you this in one of my interviews with you, and I said this crisis is far from over. So this is just the smaller part of the crisis we have seen. The larger part of the crisis is coming, and it's going to be very deep.
And what would that be?
It's sad that every day you come on air and you have conversations around the Rivers State. It is not a conversation on development. It's a conversation moving from one crisis to the other. And unfortunately, the Minister of the FCT has always been at the center of every crisis in Rivers State. That's always been at the center of every crisis in Rivers State. And we're saddened about this particular thing. Personally, I am not happy with what is happening in the States. I wish there are other ways out. But unfortunately, this is where we have found ourselves. And Rivers people are not benefiting from the crisis at all. Those are not benefiting from it at all. That's why we are calling for an end to the crisis, one way or the other. But unfortunately, the reality before us is that the crisis is not likely to end anytime soon. We just began it.
All right, like you said, the crisis is not going to end anytime soon. And of course, there have been reactions from different stakeholders, elder statesmen, people in River State as to this crisis, people taking sides. But, one thing that is of note, or worthy of note, is what the presidency said, I think yesterday, that the president will not take sides. He will not be on the side of probably his minister, Wike, or Simfubara, who seems to be on a very smooth relationship with Mr. President. They said the president will just watch from the side. But there are people who also believe that the president should actually take a side, because there are three sides to this issue: the Simfubara side, the Wike side, and the side of the people. That the president should take on the side of the people and do what is right in the interest of the River State people. Do you agree to this?
It will be laughable to hear that the presidency is coming up with a statement that the president will not take sides, when obviously the president has already taken sides in this particular crisis in the state. So the president escalated this crisis to what it is today by making the governor of River State sign that I refer to it as a devilish agreement, Abuja Peace Pact, of what is the extent of peace we have today. I haven't signed that 8-point peace pact. What is the level of peace we have today? We don't have peace. I had one. I said the document on its own is illegal. It's unknown to our constitution. It's unknown to our laws. The president, in a bid to provide political solution to a crisis, decided to carry out an illegality in the River State. And when some of us were shouting, I said, no, the peace pact on its own is illegal. It's unknown to law, and that the governor should not abide by it. Of course, the governor in his wisdom felt that it was necessary to abide by that peace pact, and we all know where the peace pact has landed him. We all know that the crisis in River State has also further deepened because of the peace pact, because by now, I believe that the state would have had a direction. But today you see that the judiciary is now at play, where you're having others from this court, counter orders and all that. And everybody's, we're not going towards the state of anarchy. So, for me, the state of anarchy we are facing now in River State is we were plumbed into it by the president, by forcing the governor to sign that peace pact.
Was it forced?
With all those kind of threats we saw.
Was it forced, really? Can you hear me?
No, there was, whether you like it or not, there's something called undue influence. And that was exactly what the president exacted on the governor when that particular resolution was presented to him to sign. We are 7 out of the 8 resolutions, we are totally against the governor. It didn't make any sense. So the president cannot come now and form neutrality. You can't talk about neutrality at this particular point, because you actually channeled everything in this direction in order to favor your minister. We expect the president to act as a father and to also protect the laws and the constitution of this country. But the president failed in doing that when he allowed them to sign that particular peace pact. Now, we have found ourselves in a situation where we're having a back and forth. People acting in accordance to whatever they feel. And of course, like I said before, the judiciary is also not helping matters. The judiciary comes up with whatever they think is right, and they push it from there. So it is saddened. So the presidency coming to say that they are neutral, it's laughable, because they're not neutral in their own circumstance. And of course, the president also, do not forget, what we also have now, it's partly the battle for 2027. When we still have about how many years for governance, and nobody's even talking about the governance. Right. So the president is also being careful so that he doesn't completely lose the level of support he got from River State, either from his minister or from the governor. Do not forget, the minister is also playing a role in assisting the president to make sure that he regains re-election in 2027 by carrying out certain acts. One, destabilizing the PDP, that is supposed to naturally be an opposition in the state, in the country. Now, aside that, he also has a River State he needs to win. So he needs not lose the governor of River State in order to win River State. So these are some of the things that the presidency is battling with. So in a late rating, the presidency now has to issue out the statement declaring non-alignment to any of the factions or any of the sides, when they had already taken steps to further deepening this our crisis in the state. And I keep on saying that the Rivers State is not an appendage of the federal government. Rivers State is a federated unit of its own, and do not need the decision of the federal government to take any stand on any issue. That is why we voted the pact that was signed by the governor, and we said no, it's unconstitutional, it's unknown to our laws, and the president cannot, for clear-cut provisions of the Constitution, violate it, because he wants to look for political solutions to what we have on ground already.
Right.
And now what the result of it?
All right.
We are back to the core.
All right. So you feel the president promoted an illegality, and this is not the time for him to stay clear of the crisis that he promoted?
He should stop pretending to be neutral in the matter. The president presented illegality. The governor helped the president to further stamp the illegality by accepting to implementing and also implementing some parts of that agreement by coming back to recognize those assembly members.
All right.
So you see, these are some of the crises. So what we have is illegality upon illegality, illegality flowing on illegality. That is exactly what we are seeing playing in Rivers State today. So now it's not a free for all. Anybody can go for shopping and get court orders and all that, and decide to abide by whatever court orders they have gotten in their own memo.
All right.
That's exactly what's happening in Rivers State today.
All right, Mr. Nwala, before Femi comes back in, talking about illegality upon illegality, are you worried, I'm concerned about what is happening to the legislative arm in Rivers State? It seems that particular House of Assembly is in commotion as we speak. You know, three-man legislator, a 25-man legislator, the governor bringing in the House of Assembly into the government house and all of that. You know, what's your impression about all of this? People are worried about the fact that the legislative arm really is not independent in Rivers State.
Of course, we've always had a situation where governors want to control the legislature, which has made it impossible for governance to function properly in Nigeria, not just in Rivers State. So Rivers State is just one of such units where we have such challenges or such things happening. Now, if we look at what is happening in the legislature, it's quite saddening and quite unfortunate. And let's also not forget that the God has also played a role in creating this particular confusion we have now in the states. Because that's why some of us also called on the Chief Justice of the Federation to look at what is happening in the judiciary and to also warn judges from giving arbitrary orders, especially when there are substantive matters in court.
Yeah.
Because this will only create further confusion and also lead to anarchy in the states, where different courts will give different orders in different particular lights. This doesn't make any sense to us. Now, looking at what is happening in Rivers State, the governor signed an executive order stating that the sittings of the House of Assembly should now be done in the government house. The governor lacks such powers to sign such an executive order. Because we have had cases up to the Supreme Court, like if you look at Inokoju and Adeleke, where the court expressly stated Justice Nikki Toby retired, stated clearly that the governor cannot at any point in time that the House of Assembly has to sit in a place constitutionally provided by it to sit. And it is not within the powers of the governor to decide, or a few members of the House of Assembly to decide to sit in a particular place where they now refer to as the chambers of the Assembly.
All right, I think we're having connection issues. Mr. Chetam, let us know when you're ready, if you can hear us. All right, we'll try and work on that. You know, Evelyn, for me, it's more particular, yes, because, the big wigs are the one fighting right now. Mr. Chetam, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
All right, quickly, let me just add this. Just like Evelyn asked, the legislature, I'm not going to, just play around works. Many persons, the legislative arm, rather, in Rivers State is becoming, and for all intent and responsibility, is more looking like a joke right now, because you have a three-man house, quote-unquote House of Assembly, having a speaker. That means there is a speaker, or he is the speaker on two other legislators, and then the Martin Samaole-led House of Assembly as well. And many persons are saying, is this war to rivers? You have spoken about your concern, and many illustrious sons and daughters of rivers as well. Is this what the legislative arm has turned to right now? And let me speak to the lawyer in you. Where is this? Where are we right now? You know, there are myriads of court cases around, you know, the legality of the House of Assembly members that has left, and, you know, they coming back, and, you know, everything that is as a lawyer, what do you think is happening? 3-man House of Assembly, 27-man House of Assembly, what's going on? Which part of those legislators is really the House of Assembly as it stands?
Now, if we want to be sincere and honest, going by the laws and looking at the orders and counter orders we are having from left, right, and center and all that, there's nothing wrong with having a 3-man legislative assembly.
Really?
Please flow with me. There's nothing wrong legally in having a 3-man legislative assembly. The law is that Section 109 is to the effect that where you have such defections that have happened, we know we have argued this over and over again, where you've had such defections that has happened, that those particularly left would have to continue legislative business. And that is the intentions of the drafters of the Constitution. Now, but the question before us, or what we should be considering, is, as of today, who is Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly? Is it Victor Okojumbo or Martin Amehule? In my own thoughts, and if you ask me, because sometimes our personal interest, the interest of the state and the protection of the Constitution should supersede our personal interest in matters. If you ask me, there was a Justice Omotosho's judgment. No matter how wrongly or how much he erred in law in that particular judgment, it is a judgment of court that was given and declared Martin Amehule as Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly. That judgment was not appealed until most recently. Remember, the last time I appeared on your show, I also informed you, I said, that judgment has not been appealed. So the judgment naturally makes Martin Amehule Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly. However, there is now an interim order that has a life of a 7 days life that made Victor Okojumbo Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly, and also restrained Martin Amehule and his 27 friends from parading themselves as members of the Rivers State House of Assembly. Now, this order, these are orders of course, and naturally should be obeyed until they are vacated. But the confusion now is this: the Omotosho's judgment that has been appealed against has a stay of execution that is saying that do not execute this judgment until the appeal before me has been heard. And we have reached a decision on this appeal. So when there is a stay of execution, parties will maintain status quo ante bellum. That is status quo before they went to court. And what is the status quo before they went to court? The status quo before they went to court is that Martin Amehule is Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly. Now we take it a step further. You get down to, you look at the interim order that came out last week, making Victor Okojumbo Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly. Now these are conflicting orders before us. But in law, we say where there are two equities, where there are two equal equities, the first in time prevails. Which is the first in time in this particular circumstance? The first in time is the stay of execution that was granted on the Omotosho judgment. So in the eyes of the law, if we are being honest, and the people who want to speak the truth, Martin Amehule serves as the Speaker of the House of Assembly until that particular law has been vacated.
All right.
That is the position of the law as of today.
Oh.
But of course, we have dramatic personnel and politicians who and also lawyers who also support these people who want to argue in different lights and direction. I want, personally, in my own opinion, I want the Minister of the FCT to take off his hands from Rivers State activities. I should not necessarily be supporting the activities of the governor. But in this case, I don't have to, because it seems like the moment we take sides on political issues, our constitution and our laws get to suffer.
All right, Mr. Chetam.
We want that continuation. We owe a duty to the laws of this country to protect it.
All right.
We swore an oath to that particular effect to protect the laws of this country.
Yeah. If you can please hold on.
This issue.
Yes.
This is the law.
All right, it is the law. Kindly hold on because we are being joined by Samuel Atiku, and Samuel Atiku is a researcher and of course an impact evaluation associate, somebody that is big on governance from the University of Bristol. He joins us live virtually from the UK. Samuel, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me on the program.
I want to appreciate, you had to go through some troubles to join us. We sincerely appreciate as well. Quickly, what do you make of the situation going on in Rivers State, especially the way the institutions of the state is at loggerheads with itself right now, and is looking like the center is no longer holding?
I think it takes us back to the political economic question. I know there are legal issues in there, but we go back to the political economic question. And the question is, who as the people of Rivers actually hand over the custodian of government to? Interestingly, that's the governor of the state, regardless of whether the election was moved, whether was somebody supported him, whether somebody endorsed his election, whether somebody was his godfather, it doesn't really matter. The people of Rivers State had actually handed over their treasury and then the administration of governance to the governor of Rivers State. And that's the person that is known by the people of Rivers State. So every other party, whether it's from the president, whether it's an external party, really do not matter in this discussion. So in terms of who the executive power of the state is vested to, is the governor of the state. Now, around January, some very strange occurrence happened. A budget that had been passed had to be represented. All those things actually begin to show clearly that the floor seems to be collapsing on itself, and we became extremely very worried that if you've gone through a process of passing a budget, why are you trying to make way, right? Why are you trying to make way? Why are you trying to, in quote, make peace? In the history of Nigeria, I've never heard that the budget of a state, after being passed, was represented. So to be clear, I will say that the governor have done something that ideally shouldn't have done to actually make peace count. And if we go to the core of the matter has nothing to do with governance. It has nothing to do with the working poor. It has nothing to do with the have-nots in the state. It has nothing to do with the quality of infrastructure of the state, the quality of healthcare people are getting, the quality of education. It has to do with positions of power. What do I get from governance? And that's been the bane of the problem. So my take on this matter is very simple and straightforward. The minister of the FCT had used 8 years. His tenure is over. I think he needs to take a step back, retrospect around what he did and what he did not do well, and allow the person that the Rivers State people had vested on the executive power of the state to push ahead with the wheels of government and begin. And you can criticize the governor from the side, but when you begin to take active steps to remove the governor, we know what happened in Nigeria in the past. When this happened, you create crisis, and when you create crisis in the state, the people that really suffer. I know people will go around and forming, I support this one, I support this one. But the real people that suffer are actually the people of Rivers State. It means that, people that should get education will not get education when the crisis start brewing. We know what happened in Ekiti in recent history. We knew what has happened across Nigeria. There's the working poor, the have-nots that end up suffering. So my take on this matter is very simple. I think the minister of the FCT has overstepped his bounds, and people should honestly look at him in the face and tell him, you are going overboard. And certainly, if the president himself wants a crisis-free country, he should actually be calling him to question. In fact, I'm wondering what the National Assembly is doing. And again, because one of the real functions of the National Assembly is oversight, and the FCT itself fall under it. So if the FCT is using enormous resources, and remember, resources is not just money, including the time of the minister, and spending substantial amount of the time of the state that should be the minister should spend governing the FCT, and you're spending it fighting some political war in Rivers State. I think the National Assembly should also step in and actually put a stop to this. That's my immediate take on this matter.
All right, Mr. Atiku, I like the fact that you said, in this whole crisis, the people suffer most. They say when two elephants fight, it's the grass under that bears the brunt. But then, as an impact evaluation, fellow, I'd like to ask you, how would this impact River State economically? And also, we know River State to be not just any state. It's a state that, draws in investment and all of that. Investors who wants to invest in River State, seeing this political crisis and drama going on, is it going to really, impact or influence their decision whether to come into River State or not, or it's just, they will just see it as a political crisis, they're going to take care of it, and we can always invest in River State if we want to. I hope you understand my question. Is it really going to influence investment into River State?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely correct. If you look at the state of play in River State presently, you need to be extremely cautious how you approach it as an investor. Now, investment itself is seen as an output, really. It's the real benefit of that investment that really counts, if we look at it from an impact perspective. So, for instance, if I'm coming to River State, and we know that in River State, a lot of mothers die needlessly because of anemia, and I want to come there to actually support the state to actually begin to address those issues, right? The first thing I want to be sure is that the political will, and then the political will itself, not W-I-L-L, but W-H-E-E-L, could actually power along and get this over with. Meaning that the National Assembly, the State Assembly and the executive arm of government needs to be functioning. But if I notice that they're not functioning, certainly I'm becoming very scared to pile my money into that space. But if I do, essentially I may not get the result I'm looking to get. That's impact, that's social investment itself. Essentially what it means is that the women in River State that are pregnant, that should get maybe iron, folic acid or something during their pregnancy, antenatal care, given the kind of tough economic challenges Nigerians are facing, will not be able to do that. Also, River State is actually a very big state, if you look at it. I mean, outside of Lagos, in terms of IGR, River State ranks number 2 in the whole of Nigeria. Now, if we take one step backwards and remember that IGR is powered by taxes on people, right? The income tax, the payee, and then the direct assessment itself. So if we look closely at that state, it means that a lot of people are actually working in the state. So if Nigeria is going to address things around unemployment, or we're trying to address underemployment, one of the focal states that you look out for is River State. It has a lot of people, a lot of professionals are there. But when there's a crisis, what it means in essence is that for businesses looking to expand, right, you're trying to move from 200 workers to actually 500 workers, you begin to take a pause. And so whether we like it or not, the ramification of decisions and actions that is happening in River State resonates across the country. It means that that company cannot expand. And if that country cannot expand, it means even the federal government plan to expand its IGR also gets impacted. That's even on the revenue side itself. River State is also a very big player in terms of infrastructure. If you look at Nigeria's economic data itself, River State happens to be one of the leading states that pulls a lot of funds into infrastructure investment. And now for context, if I explain what it means, it's simple. If you look at the VAT component of Nigeria, when you look at the federation accounts, and you look at VAT itself, the biggest chunk of VAT comes from when people pay for road construction. When you pay for all those kind of things, they flow back. So if River State can't invest in infrastructure because of crisis, it means one way or the other, it impacts virtually every state of the federation. It means definitely that Jigawa State, that one way or the other benefit from that VAT component, can't be able to tap that money.
Mr. Atiku, I'll have to butt in here, and with all you have explained now, it should actually make every leader in the country concerned, especially Mr. President. Now, Mr. President is taking on, do not want to take a side, in this particular issue. But as an economist or as an impact evaluation researcher, what do you think Mr. President should be doing at this time?
Well, the president has taken a stand. I mean, inaction, when you see somebody going overboard, itself is a stand itself in itself. The president has taken a stand. Essentially, the president had failed to call the person who vests the power of the FCT to order. Remember, the power that Wike himself occupies is actually handed over to him one way or the other by the president. The president delegated him that position, meaning that the oversight and the actions of that man itself is directly a representation of the president. And so every action that the FCT governor is taking is actually the president's action. So definitely there are political reasons for that. I mean, just imagine a minister go online and begin to abuse Nigeria, for instance. The president will call him to caution. Remember, recently, the president, remember, a minister came recently, just I'll round off now. The president, somebody came in and announced, oh, we're going to pay a kind of tax on people. The president stepped in and stopped it, right? He said, no, that's not going to happen. So the president needs to actually step in and actually stop the governor of the FCT chairman from actually going over. I think that's the action that the president should take.
Yeah, kindly hold on. Mr. Chetam, are you still with me?
Yes.
All right, quickly, I'd like you to see this short clip, and of course our viewers as well, and then we begin to round off from there.
Most of the projects that are being commissioned, they are coming for their balance payment, and it's running in millions and billions. I've said I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk because I am part of that system. But when you keep pushing me to talk, I will say it so that they will see the nyash of the fowl.
Very quickly, that's an interesting way to put it by the governor there. Mr. Chetam, the governor is saying he doesn't want to talk, but now he might be forced to talk, and he has even set up a panel that will probe the activity of what went on with his predecessor. What do you make of that? And many persons are saying, will he have done that if actually, the line doesn't get blurred between them?
Okay, before I get to respond to that, let me get to just respond to something said by Mr. Atiku. It is important to note that the governor has not represented the budget before the assembly. So that angle, let me just correct that particular impression. The governor has not, in short, he refused to represent the budget before the assembly. The first presentation that was done last year is still what is standing up to date. But moving forward on the issues you have actually raised and all that, let me state categorically that whether he's saying these things now or not, it doesn't change the fact that some of us already knows that everything that happened in the Wike's administration was majorly born out of fraud and out of insincerity. We saw these things happen. We watched it happen in our state.
There.
The governor was... Sorry?
That's a strong allegation there. You're mentioning fraud and insincerity.
Of course, these things are in public. They're in public space. But the challenge is that we have had situations where people are scared of speaking because they are scared of what will happen to them. But the truth of the matter is that I have always been playing in dealing with some of these issues. See, the governor was part and parcel of everything done by the Wike administration. He was a kitchen cabinet member of that administration. In fact, he is one of the last persons the minister saw before he went to sleep.
So that means he's part of that fraud that you are talking about, according to you.
Well, I agree with you completely. In short, I told somebody yesterday, I said, see, if the governor is talking about investigation, I am not against him investigating the last administration. But let us also not forget that the governor was also a part and parcel of this. In short, that is part of the reasons why he had had a restraint. That the governor cannot be completely exonerated. Let's not also forget that there was even an EFCC matter against the governor where he did a counter withdrawal of about how many billion? An unprecedented action. So let's not even, if we are talking about the corruption in that administration, this present governor is the part and parcel of it.
All right.
We cannot exonerate him. And that's why I have said that Rivers people are not supporting him because they love him. We are just supporting him because we are saying that the minister of the FCT should take off his hands the activities of Rivers State.
All right, thank you, Mr. Nwala. All right. Mr. Atiku, we take your party in short right now. We have to go.
I think the big takeaway here is is again for the president himself to call the person he has vested the power of the FCT to order. I think there's a need for peace to reign in Rivers State, regardless of where you have internal challenges, whether it's the National Assembly, there are 3-member, 4-member, those are legal issues that can be handled by the people of Rivers State. But I think the president needs to step in and stop his minister from using the instrument of the federal government to intimidate the state government. We've gone past this pole, we should not return back to it.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Samuel Atiku, researcher and Research and Impact Evaluation Associate, University of Bristol. Thank you for joining us all the way this morning. We appreciate your submissions and thoughts.
Thank you so much for having me on the program.
And of course, we would also like to appreciate Chetam Nwala, an activist, Pan-Africanist, a lawyer, and a son of the soil, talking about Rivers State. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Nwala. We appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you for the privilege. I appreciate it.
We appreciate it.
All right, and that's the much we can take this morning on the show. And, we call it Rivers of Drama. A lot of people say Rivers State of Commotion. A lot is happening in that state, and we cannot, people are just leaving their fingers crossed as to what will happen, especially with the judicial panel set up by the governor, especially as the fact that he was a key cabinet member in that past administration. You can watch a recap of this show on our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television. Connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and X at Western Spring Television. The details scrolling on your screen at this time. My name is Evelyn Ohiolei, and we will be back tomorrow for another interesting time on Morning Spring. But stay tuned, because Spring Trends is back, and we have exciting stories for you this morning.
And of course, instead of the rivers of commotion, rivers of drama, I'm sure people of Rivers State will be very pleased to have rivers of development. And that is why we have held this program today, and that's why we do this every time. Femi Ojo is my name. God bless Nigeria. Bye-bye.